What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about SPY and the QQQs at the request of Amar P. Amar, we're doing this for you. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. So I'm looking at the monthly basis here, monthly time frame. You can see in this RSI, if we put a line right here where we are now, where we just topped, you can see we do like to top in this area, but generally we do top a little bit higher, I would say, right? Like here of this range, the top was right here. Okay, that was that one. The top here was a little bit higher than that. The top here at first was right there, and then a little bit higher than that, and then every other top has been up a little higher. So really, where we are now, at least where that high is, it's a little bit of a ways away from here. That would tell me on a monthly basis, we probably do see the SPY grow still from here on out, right? I would expect 6 days, 18 hours left in the month. I mean, how many days is that actually? That's how many days are actually in the month, but how many days are left in the stock market week? Because tomorrow it's not open. So you have the 26th, 27th, the 30th, and the 31st. So 4 days left in the month. You're only down 0.21%. I don't think it's asking a lot to close the month green, but I do think you will. If not this month, the following month, close green, right? I definitely think that you have more growth to go. And again, this white line, this is kind of just like the minimum of where you peak out, right? Normally you do go a little bit higher than this, if not a lot higher than this a couple of times. So I want to look at the fibs now and just see where you are relative to this range here. From the overall high to the overall low, you are just breaking above the 1618. That's good enough for at least a 638 read to a 722 read. Something like that is what I would give next. Looking at this thing, and again, how overbought you are in the monthly RSI, I would say let's reassess at that 638 to 660 area. You could go as high as 722, but I would suspect that something like that would come with a lot of volatility, right? If you were to see this price, you probably, if you were to see that price by the time your RSI like peaks out here, unless you see something that's stronger like this, I would anticipate that the only way to see a price this high, 722, would be if you had a very quick move up in the beginning of the month and then you flash crash down, close back at 660 or lower by the end of the month. So that would be immense volatility. So I personally, not that you can't see that, but I don't see that happening. I would more predict that you probably do stall out at 638 to 661. So a little bit higher overall is what I would guess for this. If we look at the weekly RSI, the weekly looks very bullish, very bullish actually. Bouncing off the 60 area, I love to see that. On a daily basis here, daily RSI also looks very good. I want to look at the ribbon real quick, and then we can move on to the QQQs. And this is that range. Is there anything relative? Maybe here we could look at to high to low. Getting a look at that. You went just above your 1618 all the way down. Literally tipped your 1272 perfectly. Literally perfect, right? Find support. The next area to go to would be, the next fib. You hit the 1618, you went just above it, so the next fib's the 1886, but really the next zone would be the 1886 to the 2618, and look at that. That's kind of right in the area that we've been identifying this whole time too, and this is a different fib, so it makes sense, man. It makes sense that that's probably where you're going. Daily RSI looks great. Weekly RSI looks great. I want to look at the ribbons. I don't think we're going to find anything with that, but you never know. Sometimes it's fun to see. Oh, that was the 3-day RSI, or the 3-day. Oh, not the daily. The daily looks good too. That's cool. Either way, let me get this back on there. Sorry. Nope, not the pi cycle. We want the ribbon. There we go. So the 3-day looking good. Daily's looking fierce, looking like it's ready for a move up. Yeah, you can see actually with all these moves in the ribbon here, whenever you move below the ribbon while it's bullishly phased, right, while you've got the yellow line to the upside, you come down below, the ribbon condenses, it contracts, and then right whenever it's very contracted, that's when you expand up going further, right? Same thing down here. When you were the most contracted, that's when you expanded out. Most contracted down here at the bottom of the ribbon, that's when you expanded out. And here you are contracted again at the bottom of the ribbon. You're already coming out on top of the ribbon, right? So I would think that this does result in another move up. Let's just see real quick. Hold on. I want to see something. High to low, and you know what, maybe we can take the ribbon off for this next part. Yeah, let's look at this on a daily basis. High to low here. The next discernible high I would say would be like over here, 2272. You went right to the 2272, immediately to the 1272. Hey, I love that. Did you see the 3272? That would not be the 3272, but kind of close over there. Cool. That would have been funny if you did. I want to see this high to low now. This high to low. 1272 as support. Maybe you are going up to that 2272 at 642, which again, that price at 642 lines up pretty well with the fib. I think it's the 1886 of this one here. Yeah, that 1886 lines up very well, and that's the next target that you would have. So I think something between 642 and 665. You're at 601 now. That's probably where you're going over the coming, who knows? Is it a month? Is it 2 months, 3 months? I don't know, but over the coming month or quarter, year or so. That's the SPY. Let's look at the QQQs now. QQQs and Vesco. I would assume very similar, right? Weekly RSI killer, looks phenomenal. 3-day RSI killer. Daily RSI looks like you just found a low and you're ready to move up. Yeah, so good job on all accounts. Monthly RSI killing it as well. I want to look at the monthly RSI. With these longer term stocks, you can look at the monthly RSI and it's more helpful than like your average crypto coin. So here, same kind of idea. You put a white line of like where your tops tend to come in. And of course, you could argue, you had peaks down here, you had some peaks over here, whatever, but of this overall move, where was the top? It wasn't here, it was here, right? And then you phased down. It was here, and then you phased down, right? Here, you phased down, but like that was working up to this, right? Same thing here. So I think your overall highs, whether you phase down, whether you consolidate, whatever, you pull back, I think you're working your way up at least to an 84.5. You're at about an 80 right now, so that's a pretty sizable way up there, especially on a monthly aspect. You could be working your way up there for months before you find any kind of significant consolidation. And just because you top, just because you hit this line like this first one here, that doesn't mean that you turn around. Let me show you what I mean here, right? So that first high comes in right here. This is it right here, first high. Look, was that a top in the price? No, your top in the price came way later, right? Here, this peak where it was just a standalone peak, it was like a blow off top of an RSI peak that you did sell off rather immediately, right? Here again, first peak here, it was over here. Second peak was right here. More of a momentary top, sure, but really you just continued onwards and upwards all the way through. So while you might find some turbulence, some stagnation for like a quarter of a year or so, by the time you hit this line, that doesn't mean that you're going to see some kind of enormous pullback like this. In fact, I don't think we see an enormous pullback like that for quite some time. If you look at this thing's history, that move that we experienced in 2021, right? The little recession. A lot of people don't mention this, but I'm not afraid to mention it. I say it every time that it comes up. We just don't talk about it a lot because it's a crypto channel, right? But I talk about whatever. We had a recession, you guys. We definitely did. In 2021, the Biden administration had to change the definition of what a recession was, because if they didn't, we would have been defined as having a recession in 2021 to 2023. We literally, you guys, had a recession 2021 to 2022. I'm not making this up, right? And you can see this here across all markets, crypto markets, everything. Like it was, and if you guys remember, I don't know, things have not been economically well in the country and in the United States, probably in the world for a very long time, right? But 2021 to 2023 especially, so things might not be perfect now, but they're on the up and up, right? Does it not seem like it's on the up and up right now? Those times it was on the down and down, right? We were in a recession during that time. We had high inflation. Everything met the standards of a recession, as far as like quality of life goes, and like literally everything. And GDP, all that stuff, man. We literally had to change the definition of what a recession was. If we didn't, we would have had a defined recession, but I digress. Assuming and calling this what it was, a recession, in 2021, that happened. I'm assuming that when we do get to these levels in the RSI on the monthly basis, we're not going to see something like this, because something like that happens, well, once every like 10 years or so, right? The last one we saw was 2008, right? To compare this, you literally see it in the markets. You can see it in the charts. This was the housing crisis, right? The last time that we saw anything of that magnitude, or the very next time we saw anything of that magnitude, was 2021 to 2023, or the beginning of 2023. But so long story short, no, I don't think, once we find our momentary high, I don't think that means we pull back. When we find our momentary high in the RSI, I think it means like what it did here. You move slower. You're still moving up month after month. We're moving slower. But enough of all that theory. I wanted to make a point there. Essentially, if we look at this high to low here, you stalled here at your 1272. You stalled again at the 1618, even at the 1414 a little bit, at the 1886. A lot of respect. 2272, you stalled a little bit, then broke above it, found support on it, continuing up to the 2618. Beautiful support and respect all the way through this. You're getting into the threes, so you're starting to see a little bit less. But I mean, you probably once you get to 952, you probably do respect that too. But that's cool. That's really cool. That gives me hope that we'll probably see some respect here. I bet we're going to see some 1272 respect. Let's see, high to low here. Look at this. Not really. No, I wouldn't say that's 1272 respect. Kind of. I mean, maybe on a weekly aspect if we look at it. Not really. No, I wouldn't call that 1272. 1414 respect, definitely. 1618 respect, kind of. You know, definitely moving up. If we're at 529 now, I would say the next target area would be 622 to 747. Looking at the monthly RSI, I would suspect that we probably work our way up to 622 over the next quarter of a year. Maybe we're just below there, maybe we're around there, but probably by halfway through 2025, I would assume we're up there. A quarter of the year through 2025, I bet we're pretty close. And then going into the half, again, we probably stall and we move slightly sideways and upwards going into the halfway point of 2025, and then afterwards we get that next expansion phase going into the end of the year is kind of my thoughts at 747 or something above 656 at least. All that to say though, man, it looks bullish on long-term stuff. If we look at the daily perspective, definitely looks bullish right now. I would assume that we're moving up right now on a daily perspective. Where I would think it's going would be, ooh, let's see, maybe you do find some resistance here. Let's just see. Let's look at this on a 3-hour. You could, okay, so tomorrow to open up the day, QQQ, you might come down, you might open down, find some resistance here. If not, dude, you're going to have a hell of a day tomorrow. You're going to go all the way up to like 547. If not tomorrow, like tomorrow's Christmas. So then the next day, right, to end the week, the Thursday and the Friday to end the week, you'll be doing that, maybe. Unless you reject here, and then in which case maybe Thursday and Friday you end the week at like 535 to 532 or around these highs, and then next week you go into these prices. But that's my thoughts. I've given you everything that I can give. Oh, if we look at the 3-hour time frame here, you look at the 123 moving average, this green line. Look at how well you respect this, my friends. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that shit, man. That's great. Not always, it's not always super respected, but pretty damn well respected for support and resistance in that area, and you just bounced off it. So, I mean, if you were to go down again, you're likely only going to get a higher low, is all that's saying. So, I got nothing else for you. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for coming here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.